Hey, hello there. Welcome back to the land of cursed recordings. This is the second time I've recorded this video, and yeah. So, alright. To recap, what you never get to see, because the audio quality was atrocious. We're gonna watch this video coming up. It's gonna be fun. Amber's gonna cook for us. I enjoy watching her cooking, even though I'm horrified by it. I still enjoy watching it. I don't care. I will not apologize. I do want to say, because this is kind of a nothing burger, I do want to say going into this that I want to try to be a little bit more analytical when I'm doing these videos, just because people have asked, you know, what's the big deal about an anthropologist watching Amberlynn Reid? Really nothing. I'm just an anthropologist who happens to watch Amberlynn Reid. I do also find the world, the girl world, and the Amberverse around Amber very fascinating. And so I do like to look into that every now and then, but I kind of keep my opinions to myself because some of the stuff that I observe is not exactly flattering, and I'm not entirely sure how to talk about it without offending like 90% of the people in the Amberverse. So yeah, so that's kind of why I don't go too deep into that. However, do keep in mind the Amberverse as a subculture is an actual like culture. It's an international culture, which makes it even more fascinating that this one person, because keep in mind the Amberverse revolves around Amber. However you want to look at it, the reality is if we didn't have Amber, there would be no Amberverse. Would there be a foodieverse? There probably is one, and I don't care. I will not be going down that rabbit hole. Thank you. So what I want to do is, again, be a little bit more analytical about things when they pop up. And a couple things do pop up here. But one of the things that I think there's some confusion about is exactly how anthropology works. With the exception of physical anthropology, there's not a lot of, like, science. We're not taking measurements. We're not using formulas, that kind of stuff. Our anthropology is an observational science. So really what's going on is we're observing a group, a culture group, in this case, the Amberverse, and we're making comparisons and observations between it and other known cultures, usually the default culture, which is whatever culture I come from. So I, as an anthropologist, I come from North America. I'm mentioned many times, I'm a Midwest girl. My cat's terrified of their auto feeder for some strange reason all of a sudden. And so that kind of stuff colors the way that I look at things. And since I'm aware of that particular, this is called a bias, since I'm aware of that bias, I can adjust for it here and there. I've been told I go into like my cold professorial podcasting voice when I do that kind of crap. So if you hear that happening, that's what's happening. The other thing that has to be admitted up front is that I am a participant observer because I am participating in this subculture at the same time that I am observing this culture. And this is actually a pretty normal practice within anthropology. It's actually kind of how anthropology got started. And it's still done in the modern day because a lot of people think that the best way to understand a culture or culture group is to participate in the culture group, or especially if it's like a particular like ceremony or ritual or celebration. The best way to understand what's going on and why it's happening is to be in the middle of it when it's occurring. So there's a lot of that. But again, because I am a participant observer, I am also going to be affecting what I'm observing, and I'm also going to be affected by what I'm observing, which again creates another bias. Again, I am aware of this bias. I can adjust for it. Does it make me perfect? Absolutely not. Does it just make me self-aware of the fact that sometimes I will be making observations that are perhaps unique to myself because of my biases? Yes, that's exactly what that means. As I said, welcome to the studio of Cursed Recordings. I hope we're back now. I think I was going on about not being perfect and being aware of my biases towards my observations. So there's that. Is that wordy? Yes. And that's the other end of anthropology. I don't want to be super wordy and super, $10 word kind of a person, mainly because I think it's pompous. Though there are some times where I really the only real way to do something, the only real way to look at or explain something is to, you know, delve into that pocketbook of $20 words. Use that college education. So there's that kind of a thing. So I will try to be a little bit more observational going forward. I think I have been in the past, but I just kind of want to throw that out there as something that I'm going to attempt to do more of consciously. Am I still going to rant about things? Probably. Probably. Yeah, so I hope that cleared some things up. I hope that didn't sound too condescending. I have a habit of doing that. So let me know if you have any questions, comments, whatever. If you've made it this far in the video, be sure to like and subscribe. And so that, oh, before we get into the video, and I'll mention this at the end of the video too, my channel is monetized. So I have the ability to set up memberships and that kind of stuff. And I didn't think this far ahead. So let me know what kind of stuff you would be interested in having as a member. And I'll put a list together and see what all I can do. This isn't my full-time job, as I'm sure you hear many people say. So I do have to kind of like work things around it, but I'm willing to give it a shot because I'm kind of excited. I've never had a monetized channel before, so this is exciting. But yeah, let me know what you guys would like to see, kind of stuff you'd like to have as a member. I know I can do like emojis and badges and that kind of stuff, and I might go like pick on some of my artist friends to see if they'll make me some cute stuff. But other than that, I got no ideas. So with all of that said and all of that put out there and all of the camera failures already occurring, hopefully we'll have no more of those. That was wood. This is Cook With Me, Making Mistakes, and What's Wrong With My Lung. As you can see, I've changed the background. So let's find out. I already know, but let's find out together.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hi.
Welcome to my vlog. So I'm about to make some food.
When did she start saying food that way? Because I feel like this is a new thing. I feel like she used to say food correctly, and now all of a sudden she's saying food. Like there's an umlaut in the word food. I don't know.
So I am making a concoction, okay? So bear with me.
I already know what she's
So
making.
first we have the pot. I'm gonna add some oil. I'm gonna add some white onion that I cut up.
Oh my god. Okay, two things. A, that's how I pour oil into my pan, and I know people get on her about that, but honest to God, with Amber, that 100 or so calories is not gonna make or break her, honestly. And if she's cooking at home, I don't give a crap. I mean, it's not like she put like an entire cup of oil in there. Secondly, don't do that to your knives. Use the back half. Use the unsharpened back of the knife to scrape things off your damn chopping boards. Unless you just want dull knives, which I think her knives are dull. When I see her cut things on top of it being like, you know, a scene from a horror movie, I think part of her issues is that her knives aren't sharp. They're dull. Not a chef. I just have some in my family. My family is very obsessed with food, cooking it, eating it. So there. Participant observer.
I'm gonna add some ground turkey.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this.
Ew.
Not that part.
Now I'm gonna add some black pepper. A pretty good amount of it. Some garlic salt. Some minced onion.
That part.
I meant to.
Okay. For those of you who don't know, when you do this kind of a thing, you want to put your onions, your peppers, and your garlic in first, saute them until they become aromatic or fragrant, or your onions become translucent. They're not opaque. Anyway, then you add your meat. Also, I don't like ground turkey.
To say minced garlic. Some minced garlic. And now I'm going to mix it all up.
This is why I don't like ground turkey.
This is going to be a one pot meal.
TBH, I would have used a potato masher here just to get the meat chopped up into smaller bits, but turkey has no fat in it, and so it doesn't break up like sausage or hamburger would do because it doesn't have the fat in it. Also has no flavor. I
My
judgy.
camera doesn't angle down anymore, so I wish I could show you what was really going on.
We can see.
But my camera is like super top heavy, so any farther down that I angle it, it'll just like fall into the food.
We can see perfectly.
Okay guys, so my meat is cooked. My onion is cooked exactly how it should be. Now I'm gonna add tons of taco seasoning. I wouldn't say tons, but you know, a decent amount for sure. Stir that up. This is probably where people are gonna be like, what is happening? I'm also going to add
not even a little bit
some salsa.
The only real thing I would have done differently here is I would have put my onions and my garlic in with the oil, sauteed them, and then put the salsa in, because it's got onions and peppers and stuff in it too that I would want to kind of lightly saute before I put the meat in.
Yes.
I know all of you care.
People question my food, but I promise you that I know how to flavor. I know how things taste. Always trust a fat chef. You know what I'm saying? Now
Kay's cooking? Or cooking with Kay, anyone?
Now I am going to add tapatio. This comes out so slow. Oh
Why
my
did
goodness.
you add that at this point?
And I'm gonna add some chicken stock.
Right. I was actually confused when I saw this the first time. And this
I'm gonna add
horrifies me.
some jasmine rice. So now I'm going to leave it.
That part still scares the crap out of me. I have never seen anybody just randomly pour rice into anything. I've always seen people measure it. So that frightened me.
To simmer. I am going to add a few more seasonings. I'm gonna add a little bit of cayenne, some crushed red pepper flakes. I like my food spicy, okay?
No, you don't.
And now I'm just gonna let it do its thing. The rice is gonna cook, and the chicken stock is going to evaporate.
So my family makes pretty much the exact same dish. We call it Spanish rice. The only real difference for us is that we use tomato paste along with the broth. And yeah, it's a one-pot meal. So, you know, you cook everything in stages, and then you add the rice and you let it simmer. And the rice cooks and it absorbs all of the liquids and all the grease and the fat, because we don't drain our meat in where I'm from. So there's that. It's a pretty good meal. I know people who do this with the salsa thing. I do it with the salsa thing. Typically with my family, we don't screw around, man. If it's not full fat meat, are you even cooking? So we usually use sausage or hamburger. And my only real thing is like the tapatio and then the cayenne and then the red peppers. They're seasonings, don't get me wrong, but they're not really like flavor seasonings. So this whole like, I know what flavor is. It's all the same. You just basically added the same thing 3 times. The taco seasoning, I totally use taco seasoning. That used to be the way, that was how I was taught to even make chili. So I don't use it anymore, but this is all stuff that I have in my kitchen with the exception of tapatios because I don't like it. And I mean, I use these things daily to cook, but I mean, as far as like a flavor profile, all of her flavor is really coming from the salsa, because that's where all the flavor actually is. Everything else, I don't even know why you would add tapatio at this point. It's not gonna flavor it. To put it on afterwards, yeah, but at this point, it's just gonna mix in and disperse too much. You're not gonna taste it.
So this is how it looks now. It's gonna simmer for a minute or 2 or 3, probably about 20. And I'll show you guys when it's done. All right, so here it is, finished. This honestly came out perfect. It tastes so delicious.
It's too runny. It's too runny. This is what it looks like. I mean, this is what it looks like, only less liquidy, and mine will be much redder because I use tomato paste. That's really the only difference here. So
It's like a taco salsa-y rice. I don't really know.
We call it Spanish rice, but I've heard people call it dirty rice.
I was definitely craving like a comfort food, and I do not want to order takeout today. So yeah, here it is. Delicious. Okay, so I have tons
now here
of leftovers.
Okay, you see how like clumped together? I know it looks like crap, but you see how it sticks together? This is what it should be like when you serve it. She didn't give the rice enough time to absorb the liquid, and before she ate her first serving of it, this is what it's supposed to be like. It's supposed to be like, it's like a casserole, only it comes out of one dish. Yes, you can all mock me for that one.
God. This is one of them things where I feel like tastes even better, like leftover.
I mean, it's gonna take this time because all the flavor will be absorbed.
Excited for that. Feline loved it, so I'm glad about that because she's such a good cook.
Feline does seem to be a decent cook.
The bowl is a little too small, but it'll be okay. I'll figure it out. Now I need to clean the stove because she's looking messy, but look how good that looks. I swear, oh my god, it was 10 out of 10.
I mean, if you want to pretend like you're healthy, you can add like a can of black beans and some corn to that, or just like frozen mixed vegetables if you're like super lazy and you want variety. But the reality of it is you're eating rice and meat. It's a stretching dish. That's how you make a pound of hamburger stretch to feed a family of 4 to 6, because you could easily divvy that up. And then it's very versatile. You can add cheese, you can add sour cream, you can add none of it, you can just put it in a dish and hand it to people and say eat, mange. But that's the point. It's a stretching food for when you don't have a lot but you need to feed many people, or you don't have a lot but you need food to stretch you for the rest of the week. Like, that freezes really well, so you can keep like a couple portions in the fridge to eat off of and then freeze the rest of it to kind of eat on throughout the week. So that's what this kind of a dish is. And this is what when I'm talking about like quote poverty food, I mean dishes like this where it's a food way of taking very little and making it stretch as long as possible. Believe it or not, that's really what bread is. It's a poverty food because it's a way of making grain stretch for a long amount of time, or to take very little grain, make a large thing out of it that can then feed and sustain a larger number of people than just one, if that makes sense. It's a thing.
Massively dirty stove.
Every culture
now
has
clean
this.
Stove. Still looks dirty, but I promise it's clean.
This is why I don't like induction ovens. Like, is this glass, the countertop? Is that what this is? You can't not do this from what I understand, and I don't like it. It looks bad. And it's not her fault. It looks bad. It's just the nature of the beast.
This is what I've been using for literal years. It's the Method all-purpose cleaner in Wildflower. It smells so freaking good. I ended up buying, this was a while ago, like a whole bundle online because not only was it cheaper, but I was obsessed. I go through weird stages where I like clean obsessively, but yeah, this is the best ever. The smell of it, I could marry it. So I'm LOLing, but I figured I would show you guys this because this is a really big...
Okay, I remember this. She's only recorded her weight once since the 20th, which I think is when she started it, and it is the 24th, so girl, get on that. But her initial starting weight that she put in was 531.2. Why does she care about those points? Interestingly, though, as many of you know, because you're obsessively following me, I'm doing Weight Watchers along with Amber. And so there's this thing that they have on there called a roadmap, and it's basically just these little how-to click-throughs. It's stupid. And one of the things that they talk about is weighing yourself and keeping track of your weight. And I kind of see where, if she's been doing Weight Watchers on and off her entire like adult life, I understand where she gets the weird crap that she does when she weighs herself, because Weight Watchers encourages it. They're like, you need to weigh yourself at least once a week and record it. But, if you wanted to weigh yourself every day, that'll give you more data to work with. So do be completely obsessive and weigh yourself all the damn time. The other things that the Weight Watchers app tells you to do when you weigh yourself, not suggest, tells, is weigh yourself first thing in the morning after you've gone to the bathroom, with your clothes off. And I forget what the fourth thing was, but it was something about, yeah, it was like before you eat or drink anything. Yeah, before breakfast. First off, weighing yourself first thing in the morning, maybe it's convenient, whatever. I tend to weigh myself first thing in the morning too. Why are you taking your clothes off? Especially if you're weighing yourself first thing in the morning. Do you sleep with weights on? Like, your clothes, I don't care who you are, your clothes do not weigh that much. I promise you they don't. Especially whatever you're sleeping in doesn't weigh that much. Two, okay, the bathroom thing's going to make somewhat of a difference, but it's going to make a difference of what, half a pound, maybe? I've weighed myself before and after going to the bathroom because I'm that kind of a person. And the difference in my weight is not that significant. If I'm right on the cusp of a pound, it'll change, but otherwise there's no significant change. And the whole like before you eat thing, my biggest issue with the before you eat part is like, if you're weighing yourself first thing in the morning on an empty stomach with an empty digestive tract and no clothes on, so you are weighing yourself at the absolute lightest weight that you could possibly be at, you will never be that weight at any point during the day. It is a false equivalence. Honest to God, I would think the best time to get an accurate, realistic idea of what your weight is probably right before you go to bed. Because you've had all 3 meals throughout your day, you've been active all through your day, you can take your clothes off if you want, but again, makes no big deal in my opinion, and you may or may not have used the bathroom. But the reason why your weight is going to be more realistic is you've already been active throughout the day, so all of that has already taken its toll on your weight. You've already eaten all of your meals, so that's going to be more realistic about your actual weight than empty stomach, completely naked, standing on a scale first thing in the morning is going to be. That's your evening weight is probably more what your weight is going to be like throughout the day. Same thing with taking measurements. I am completely against taking measurements first thing in the morning because you're going to be less basically bloated and swollen first thing in the morning than you are throughout the rest of the day. And that's just not how your clothes are going to actually fit on you throughout the day. It would probably be more realistic to take your best measurements maybe halfway through the day or again in the evening right before you go to bed after you've had all your meals. Am I crazy? Anyway, I get why she has this weird obsession with weighing herself naked and all of this weird crap that she does, this weird ritual she has around weighing herself. And I do think it's like 100% Weight Watchers' fault. And I, as a non-medical person who has just, been doing this on their own, I would not recommend doing any of that, honestly. Weigh yourself last thing in the evening. As a matter of fact, I'm going to start weighing myself last thing in the evening just to show you guys. And I'll put it in the damn app. But that's the thing. If I weigh myself first thing in the morning, which I have done, and that's where I get the 163 from, and then I weigh myself in the evening, which I do because I'm interested to see the difference. I don't do this every day. The difference between my morning weight and my evening weight is somewhere between 3 to 5 pounds, depending on how active I've been and what I've eaten throughout the day. Which of those weights is the more realistic weight that I actually am? Anyway.
A question that is happening right now. People are asking what weight did I put in on the Weight Watchers app to get 82 points. I put in the weight that I weighed the day that I started, 531.2. And there's like rumors, people using some like knockoff calculators online.
They're
not how it
using
works.
Weight Watchers.
It's kind of creepy and kind of weird. But yeah, 531.2. Y'all, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I be getting emotional at the drop of a hat. I was checking my Instagram DMs and someone's like, going to see the new Barbie movie. Wish you were here to dress up with me and my friends.
All right, I've already had I've made my stance on crying. Okay, I did speed her up. Sorry, I forgot about that. The only takeaway from this section, other than the things I've just been making fun of it for, is Amber has a parasocial relationship with her audience. I know normally the relationship is with the audience towards the creator. This time it's in reverse. Amber sees her faceless audience as her friends. That's the big takeaway here. It's pretty much the only takeaway here.
Oh my god. I am going through such, like, self-hatred. I talked about it a little bit in my last vlog. I just feel like I'm really struggling with that. Like, it kind of just reminds me of, like, something that I've heard, you know, people talk about, like, how they feel like their self-worth is only as much as the person you're with, like, makes you feel.
Okay. I have thoughts. Bear with me. Amber has, in my opinion, Amber has the emotional maturity of a young teenage girl. And I say girl because she's a girl. She does not have the coping mechanisms to find value in herself by herself. She has to have someone acting as a reflection for her to reassure her that she is someone with value. And this is something that I'm pretty sure every single one of us went through when we first became teenagers. You know, you're coming out of your kid years and you're becoming a teenager. Your brain actually shuts down pretty much all of your logical functions around the age of 13, because now it's more concerned about developing basically your sex drive and your sexual traits. And so it kind of puts the part of your brain that keeps you alive from logical decision making into the back so that it can spend all of its time having you make stupid decisions based around your libido. And also, you're too young to understand that, so you make really dumb decisions. It's okay, you grow out of it. But the point being, in that time, we all went through a phase where we didn't know how to value ourselves because we've never been confronted with that before. And so all of us went through a phase where we're struggling to understand how to value ourselves and develop our sense of self-worth, our confidence, our outlook on life. I mean, lots of things happen when you're in your early teens to mid-teens, and probably beyond that too. But you have like a certain, I feel like you get like a certain sense of maturity. I'm not saying you're mature. I'm saying you get maturity starting around like 16, 17, and then going up into 23 when your brain actually turns back on again. My opinion, I don't think Amber ever made it to the point mentally and emotionally. She never made it to 23, I guess is what I'm trying to say. She got stunted somewhere in there. And she's stuck in the point of her life where she never developed her own value, her own self-value. My opinion. And it's really obvious in times like right now where she's going to sit here and tell us that the reason she's sad is because she's losing Feline, and Feline makes her feel normal and makes her feel valuable. And she honestly thinks that this is a normal quality that everybody suffers with and that isn't incredibly codependent. The reality, what everybody else hears is, I, Amber, do not have the ability to value myself. Therefore, I need other people to give me value. And a lot of us today, we all kind of do this in some way, but a lot of people, like, we have friend groups, we have family, hopefully some of us at least, who will say nice things about us or who will build us up when we feel down or in a breakup kind of a situation. You know, you've always got your bestie behind you, just like, oh, they've made the worst mistake of their life. You're the best thing that ever happened to them. They're going to come crawling back and begging for you to come back to them because you're just all that and a bag of chips. You're not a snack. You're a whole meal. You know, that kind of a thing. Most of us have a bestie that does that. Amber doesn't. So whether or not the breakup is amicable or not, Amber doesn't have anybody in her corner rooting for her. And she didn't have that the last two times she broke up either. And frankly, I have a very low opinion of Destiny, and Becky's Becky. Becky has her own problems. And that breakup was way too public and kind of a train wreck. Anyway, the point is Amber lost all of her social groups the last two times she broke up, and she doesn't have anybody rooting for her in her corner. So she doesn't have anyone to build her up, to continue to feed her need to be validated as somebody who is good and worthy. And that's what she's mourning here. Yes, I think she also really likes Feline, because who doesn't like having like the cute, hot, young girlfriend? I mean, I don't care who you are. If you're into girls, you probably are really excited about the cute, hot girlfriend idea. Unless you're into older, mature women. And then, of course, you know, that was way too much. But my point being, yeah, I think she's into Feline, and I think she's sad that she's losing Feline. I also think I still stand by it being mutual. How it got to be mutual is another story, but I still think both of them made the decision. But what Amber's more upset about losing, and that she's admitting to here, she's losing the person who tells her that you're fun, you're smart, you're hot, you're, you know, the sex bomb that we all like to think we are. And she doesn't have anybody lined up to replace that. I know some people are saying like she's got somebody in the wings already. I don't think so, but that's my personal opinion. She's not behaving like that. But I mean, I could be completely wrong. And this moment here, I would think in someone else would be the moment where they're looking into the mirror, which she is facing, by the way, looking into the mirror and going, wow, I really need to learn how to build myself up, to be my own cheerleader, to find my own value in myself, because I'm clearly too dependent on other people doing it for me. But I also feel like that requires an amount of emotional maturity and self-awareness that Amber just doesn't demonstrate having.
Like, for me,
Not
it's like being with Feline, you know, there was a lot of affection, romance, love, compliments, and she drastically made me feel better about myself. Like, she made me feel normal. Whereas for a majority of my life, I have felt like monstrous, grotesque. People look at me like I'm a circus freak, and Feline made me feel normal. She made me feel like I deserved love, and I deserved to be treated for more than like my size.
And this is more of her play acting, because this is what she thinks heartbreak is supposed to look like. I think the emotions are fake. I think the words are real. Does that make sense? Amber puts on a persona when the camera turns on. And this is acting Amber, but the words are things that I think she thinks and says when the camera's off as well.
I guess for some reason, like, I don't know, I'm just feeling like I'm just not worth love anymore. I don't know. I'm just in a weird headspace, and I don't know. I come on here and I try to be as entertaining as possible, and you know, I'm just not entertaining right now. I'm just going through some stuff for sure. Oh, and I do want to say that I have heard you guys, because a lot of people were asking like about my lung and an update on that. Well, just like last year, where the pain and the shortness of breath and all of the symptoms I had, they kind of like vanished. I'm experiencing the same thing where it vanished. My lung is...
She says that she has to take a deep breath just to finish that sentence. Amber does this. Amber has illnesses that magically appear and then magically disappear. Amber self-diagnoses and then claims that a doctor has told her something. That doctor is usually like WebMD. Yeah. Do I think Amber has a lung issue? I think Amber has a hard time breathing. I'm not entirely sure why. Not a doctor. Couldn't make a diagnosis this way anyway. Do I think that her doctor canceled her appointment on her last video? No. I'm not saying that doctors don't do that. As someone pointed out in my comments, doctors are human beings. Crap happens. Perfectly acceptable. My doctors do that to me occasions too. Something comes up, we have to change the date. We usually change the date either the day of or we play phone tag until we get a new date picked. That didn't happen with Amber. Did Amber drop the ball? I don't know. I don't think there was a doctor's appointment, and I don't think there was a cancellation because I don't think there was a doctor's appointment. Personal opinion. The whole thing with the lung doctor. Oh yeah, she's getting ready to tell us about like how she's waited basically what? She mentioned the lung specialist 2 weeks ago, and she still doesn't have an appointment with them. I'll let her talk about that and then I'll give you the side eye afterwards. But these are reasons why I don't believe she's doing any of this. Maybe she did find a random lung doctor to go to, or actually I think her GP finally did recommend somebody to her. But I don't think she followed through with any of it to begin with. I don't think there's any cancellations to happen because I don't think it ever got followed up on.
It's not hurting. It's not making that like weird feeling that I was having. I don't know. I'm like really afraid for it to come back. Like, knock on wood. But a lot of people were asking about that. So I don't know. It's apparent that this comes in waves. I just need to keep that documented and the symptoms that, you know, arise when it happens. And I always make sure to see my doctor when it happens and
no, you don't. That's a bold-faced lie.
Stuff. So, but for some reason I still have not gotten a call from the lung specialist, which is weird because my doctor literally told me they are calling me. And normally I'm like super impatient, so I end up calling them and I just want to get the ball rolling.
Look at her face. She's so smug. Usually I do this thing that I'm totally making up right now.
But I wanted to take your guys' advice.
Stop taking advice from the internet. We are not your friends. We are not your therapists. We are not your doctor. Stop it.
And just wait for them to call me. And since they haven't, I think I'm just gonna call them. But yeah.
2 weeks later. 2 weeks later, she thinks she's gonna call them. We're never gonna see this doctor's appointment. This is the end of the lung saga until she needs to bring it up for some other reason.
I just wanted to give that update. Y'all know what sounds good? I'll show you.
We are skipping this. It is stupid. I'm not watching it. I don't care. Otter Pops were disgusting when I was a kid, and there's no way they're any better now that I'm an adult.
I mean, this whole video has been nothing but me talking, but I mean, that's what a vlog is, right? I just went on another mini walk with Twinksters. I don't know. Something's gotten into me. I'm walking a little bit more than usual.
She's also totally lying.
So that's really good. But I want to talk about Weight Watchers. I have stayed under my points for the last couple of days.
Then show me. I show my points.
And I'm just like super swollen still, and I just don't feel that good. Like I stopped the whole like fruits, veggies, chicken sausage, mustard, cottage cheese. I stopped that and I have felt like crap ever since. Like legitimately eating that way just made me feel so good. So it's like I kind of want to go back to that life. Like
there is literally nothing stopping her from doing that on Weight Watchers. As a matter of fact, all of the foods she just listed, with I think the exception of the chicken sausage, are all 0-point foods, including the cottage cheese. Those are all 0-point foods on the diet on Weight Watchers, which again, more reasons why I think the point system is bullshit. Mainly because I cannot figure out I can't figure out why they pick certain foods to be 0 points and certain foods to be whatever arbitrary number of points they give it. I had 3 eggs and 2 rice cakes this morning. Those 3 eggs being 70 calories a piece, and God only knows how much fat in each because I don't keep track, were 0 calories. But my 2 rice cakes, I think, come out to like 5 points. And I'm confusing calories with points here, so work with me. So I cannot for the life of me figure out what the criteria is for a food to be pointed and a food to be 0. Now, there's nothing stopping her from doing the cottage cheese and mustard diet. As a matter of fact, it would be perfect for her for anybody on Weight Watchers, because you don't have to count any of those foods towards your points, including the cottage cheese. I'm going to keep harping on that. Damn it. So why she thinks she can only do one or the other, like in the way she's talking right now, it's like I can either do Weight Watchers or I can do the cottage cheese and mustard diet. You can do both. There's no diet. There's no eating plan. There's no meal plan on Weight Watchers. They don't give you any guidance towards that at all. All you have is your points. You have to make those decisions on how to gamify your points, which is all they're doing. They're just gamifying it. Amber has 82 points in a day. That's twice what I get. So there's absolutely no reason why she couldn't have one meal out of the day be her cottage cheese and mustard diet with all of her vegetables, which is basically just a salad, you guys. Come on. Anyway. In her head, though, she can only do one or the other. And I don't know where the disconnect is. And I'm confused. Also, I don't for a minute believe she's been doing this daily because she hasn't shown us her points. I show mine. Let's go, Amber.
Like, I did it a couple days after the breakup, but like, I don't know, the breakup has kind of messed with my everything, like my routine of life, my schedule, the way I do things.
I don't believe you have a schedule. I don't believe you have a routine. And also, you're just using the breakup as an excuse to do something you were going to do anyway.
So, yeah. God, was starting Weight Watchers a stupid idea? So many of you are probably screaming at your like TV, your phone, your computer, laptop, whatever you're watching me on. You're like, Amberlynn, you're so annoying. I know. But was it a mistake? God, I have stuff to think about. I feel like it was a mistake. Okay, guys, so I just completed another wannabe Lego. So I wanted to show you. Well, these are like the headphones.
I'm not gonna lie, at first I didn't like these, but this is freaking cool.
It's supposed to go in this guy right here. So these are like the little headphones that are connected to the tape recorder, which does open. And I did make little cassettes, as you can see here. So we can just put it inside and listen. Oh my God, this one's so freaking cute. Yeah, I did that. I did that. Isn't it adorable? Oh, this just helps me. This has been like helping me through my breakup, okay? It's my little version of therapy. Look at Riddles.
And there's the other
What are you doing? Hi. Okay,
all the
guys, so it is the end of the night and I'm getting tired. I do want to end this vlog, but I want to do a question or two. So let's pick a popsicle stick here.
This is another really interesting thing that I wanted to talk about. Not necessarily the questions themselves, but kind of. So remember, the arts and crafts project was that these 56 popsicle sticks represent the 56 pounds, maybe it was 52 pounds that she wanted to lose before she moved. So each one of these popsicle sticks is a physical representation of a pound. And we got 2 pounds down before, I don't even remember what set her off, but it was the same day that we joined Weight Watchers. So 4 days ago now. And she's like, screw the popsicle sticks. So the global we are not using popsicle sticks to represent weight anymore. But what is also tied into these popsicle sticks is each popsicle stick has a number, and each number corresponds to a question on 2 separate sheets of paper that she has. Amber went out of her way to collect questions about herself from the internet, and I think she made some of them up, to answer every time she lost a pound. This is a pure act of ego. And it speaks to her ego, and again, her self-confidence here. Is that the word I'm looking for? I think I'm using the wrong word. Anyway, this speaks to her ego to the point where even though we're not using the sticks as measurements of weight loss anymore, we're still going to answer the questions. The questions are the more important aspect of these popsicle sticks than the weight loss was. Her ego wants to answer these questions regardless of why these questions exist. And so we're still going to randomly pick questions to answer off of these 2 sheets of paper, because Amber, this is another way that Amber pulls self-worth from other people. If people are asking questions about her that she needs to answer, then that means she's an interesting person that people want to know things about. And you know how she loves to give advice. It's not because she's good at any of it. I mean, most of the time she's giving us diet advice after being on a diet for like 2 hours. And suddenly she's an expert in whatever diet that is. It's the same thing. This is a way for her to demonstrate how awesome, cool, superior she is by answering these questions. And even though she can drop the weight loss part of it without batting an eye, she can't let go of answering the questions. She has to. She is compelled to feed that part of her ego that requires her to answer these questions.
We got number 2.
Do we?
Can you guys see it?
No.
2. What's your favorite weight loss snack? Well, it depends. Like, are you trying to be like super healthy, or are you...
Remember, she picked these questions out. No one picked these for her. She picked these out. Pick these out.
Still allowing a little good in there. Oh my god, the lighting. What is going on? I looked up and I literally thought I was in like an interrogation. What?
Squirrel.
Ma'am. I'm just gonna say, like, when I'm being like super healthy, like an apple, I'm not even lying. But like, if I am eating whatever I want, just like in moderation or whatever, I really like those salami snack plates. Y'all, I totally was gonna
I can literally count on one hand the number of times I've seen her eat an apple. And still have fingers left over.
do another question, but I'm really tired. I'm a little high. I took Delta 8. I took a little bit more than I usually do, and it just like really helps with my sleep and stuff. So not gonna get mad about that. It also, I don't know, kind of lightens my mood a little bit. I don't feel as sad, so, but it's like,
I don't for a minute believe she takes Delta 8. I think she knows what Delta 8 is, and that's why she brings it up. I personally think she mentions the Delta 8 for the same reason that she did the mustard diet, and it's because she thinks it's the it girl thing to do. You know, she saw the mustard diet chick doing her mustard diet, and she's cute and pretty, and she has a lot of followers, and all of her followers are probably young, cute, and pretty too, because TikTok. And so Amber's like, I want to be young, cute, and pretty too. I want to be quirky and the it girl, so I'm going to join the mustard crowd. And I think that's the same thing with the Delta 8. She knows it's a thing, so she says she takes it. And I don't for a minute believe she does. I'm sorry. She doesn't act like somebody who's taking said products. Her personality does not change whatsoever. Her speech patterns don't change. Her body language doesn't change. Nothing changes between the time where she's not on the Delta 8 and the times where she's taken the Delta 8. You know? So I don't for a minute believe it's real. I think she's just saying it because she wants to be cool. And yeah, I know people have asked me why I don't think that. I know lots of people throughout my entire life, and I'm sure there are other people who can say this as well. I know what it looks like when someone's partaking and is, as Mama Goose says, relaxed. Amber doesn't even begin to act like these people. So that's why. I'm gonna let her finish.
literally my bedtime, so I'm gonna go. And again, I promise
Bye.
this face will have makeup on it tomorrow, so you guys don't have to stare at me looking like this. I'll see you guys in my next vlog. Bye.
Bye.
Hello.
Whatever. I honestly can't tell that much of a difference between when she has makeup on and when she doesn't. The only difference that I really see is that she's got winged eyeliner on. I A, don't think she puts on enough foundation, and B, the way she applies the foundation, there's no way that it's like covering anything of worth. That's not how I meant to say that. But anyway, my point being, I don't think there's anything to say that I didn't say during the video. I liked watching the cooking section. That's a recipe my family eats. I still make it. What else did we do? Oh, I think it's interesting that she makes this admission of low self-worth and the need of other people to validate her, but doesn't see that that's exactly what she just did. She thinks she's lamenting the loss of a relationship when really she's pointing out that she can't cope with herself. Oh, the lung thing. I don't know if she has something wrong with her lungs or not. She clearly has breathing issues, but is that because she's 600 pounds or is that because she has walking pneumonia? I don't know. But I do know that I don't buy the doctor's appointments. I don't buy the doctor. I think maybe her GP told her to go to a lung specialist and maybe even told her which lung specialist to go to because that's usually how that works. But she's waited 2 weeks to get a call from the lung specialist. I wait 24 hours. The doctor doesn't care. They're not going to get offended that you called their office to make an appointment. They told you to make an appointment. They don't care how it gets made. Trying to think. Oh, she was clearly lying about the walk with Twinkie. Like, her eyes were all over the damn place. She's petting the back of her head. I totally went on a walk with Twinkie, you guys. Totally did. So, yeah, no, there's just, she didn't do that. She probably stood in the yard while Twinkie went for a tinkle. Yeah, and the last part of it was just like, stop using the internet as your therapist. We are not your friends. And I don't for a minute believe she takes Delta 8 either. I think she thinks she's an it girl, and that's why she takes Delta 8. Anyway, those are my final thoughts on the matter. If you have made it this far in the video, leave a frying pan emoji down in the comment section. I think it has bacon and eggs on it as well. So it's not like just a frying pan. But if you have just a frying pan, you can leave that too. Bacon and eggs? Who says that? I don't remember. But yeah, leave that emoji down in the comment section. Feel free to leave comments. Remember to like and subscribe. You can even dislike it. The algorithm doesn't care. It just wants to see interaction. So, but yeah, do go ahead and subscribe. Again, I just got approved for monetization. I really expected that to take a lot longer than it did. So also let me know what kind of stuff you'd like to see as a member, what kind of things you would interact with as a member. And yeah, I've been looking over the tiers and all that kind of stuff, and I'll see what we come up with and what I'm capable of doing. Again, I do work. I know it doesn't seem like that, but I do have a job, and sometimes I actually do it. So yeah, so let me know what you guys think. Comment, like, subscribe, leave a frying pan emoji, and I will see you all in the next one.